Hello everyone, Komi here, back with another Genshin Impact video. In today's video, we're going to talk about Mavuika. She just released yesterday. We did the Archon quest, we tested her, we played her with a lot of different teams. And in today's video, I'm going to talk and tell you about how you should play her, the best way to play her, the best teams, what talents level, builds, weapons, artifacts, everything. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Even if you have questions after watching this video, you can also join the Discord if you need any help with farming, with builds, etc. And hope you enjoyed the video. Let's get into it. So first, I'm gonna quickly go over the builds and what you should build on her in general, and then we're gonna show a few teams, a few mechanics with her gameplay and stuff, and that's basically gonna be it. Honestly, it shouldn't be too difficult. She's not too hard to play, but there's a few things to know so you can maximize her DPS. First, Mavuika is a pyro DPS, but she can also be played as a support in certain teams, so we're going to see later what teams she can work in. In terms of weapons, her signature weapon is going to be the best option by far. Like, it's very insane, especially on her. It will give not only 20 crit damage and 20 attack, but an extra 75% of the buff will be added. So it's going to be 35 crit damage and 49 crit rate. Not crit rate, it would be nice, 49 crit rate, 49 attack every time you use her skill or use her burst. So it's pretty insane buff. As you can see, my current build is 6223, and as soon as I use my skill, she gains an extra 40 crit rate from the obsidian passive and another 35 crit damage plus a lot of attack, so it's pretty good. Now, if you don't get her signature weapon, she has a lot of different options. In general, I wouldn't recommend a weapon with more crit rate, like Verdict or Beacon. They're not really good anyways. I mean, Beacon is fine, but it gives a lot of crit rate, a bit too much with her signature set. And same for Verdict, not really that good. So yeah, it's okay, but I wouldn't recommend those two. Best 5-star options after 1,000 Blazing Suns will be Wolf's Gravestone. It gives a ton of attack. She will love attack. Especially if you play in meld teams or vape teams where you can go EM Sands. She will love the attack from the Wolf's Gravestone. Red Horn is also pretty good since you already get so much crit rate from the set. Like, let's say if I switch the weapon here, I'm losing 11 crit rate from the weapon, so it's not that much. We still have 88 crit rate after all the buffs. So with Red Horn, you can get very, very good crit ratio, pretty insane. Not as much attack, but still very good. In terms of F2P options, you will have a different amount of options. If you manage to grab that weapon from a previous event, Melflower is going to be basically your best 4-star option. It gives EM, it gives attack, it's very, very good. So if you have that one, just use that one, honestly. You don't even need to go for the signature weapon, even though I think it's the best looking weapon in the game. The event weapon is pretty good. And yeah, I mean, I can still hit like 600k with that weapon in like or like 500k in like an F2P team, so it's pretty good. After that, you got the craftable weapon from Nalan and Fontaine. Tidal Shadow and Earthshaker are probably like kind of similar. I think Tidal Shadow is a little bit better. It gives a bit more attack, where this one gives skill damage, but she doesn't deal, like, her skill damage is not really the main part of her DPS. So yeah, her attacks when after you use her skill and when you spin and stuff like that are considered normal and charge attacks. So most of her damage is not going to be from the skill. So craftable from Nalan, craftable from Fontaine are pretty good. I would say craftable from Fontaine a little bit better, but it's very, very similar overall. And Melflower being the best option. After that, you also have the Luxurious Sealor that is not too bad, gives you burst damage and a ton of attack, so it's not terrible. And finally, last option is going to be Serpent Spine. If you have the Battle Pass, it's also a very good weapon. Gotta be careful to not overcap on crit rate, but if you have the right substats, it's gonna be fine. So yeah, it's a good weapon overall. Serpent Spine is pretty good. Now, in terms of artifact sets, if you go DPS Mavuika, the best set is going to be Obsidian Codex. It's basically the best set for all the Nalan characters that deal damage and that are like DPS. So it gives 40 crit rate after you use when you enter your Night Soul state and you start using Night Soul points. So in this state here, you see I'm using Night Soul points. I might have lost the... No, I still have the buff. What weapon am I using? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, every time you lose one Night Soul point, so every time you use one energy of Night Soul, you will gain the buff. So permanently 100 plus 40 crit rate, basically. And 15% damage when you're in Night Soul Blessing. So perfect for all the Nalan characters. And that's basically it. If, on the other hand, you play her on support teams, in teams as a support, you can go with the other Nadlan set called Scroll of the Hero of Cinder City, where that you mostly use on Xilonen, Kachina, things like that, or Citlali. It's going to be very good for her if you play her for, like, I don't know, for example, like a Melt Ganyu or a Navi Vape or whatever. I'm saying like random teams like that, but just to give you an example, if you play her as a support, Scroll set is going to be her best option, and she's still going to deal pretty decent damage. In terms of stats on the artifacts, you will look for crit damage, crit rate, attack, and EM. Not too much crit rate, as you can see. We get a lot of crit rate from the set, plus the weapon if you have the weapon, or if you use Serpent Spine. But even without that, you already get a lot of crit rate. Set is already 40%, so even if you get just like 20, 30 from the substat, it's already 70, 80 crit rate, so it can go pretty fast. You will want some attack and some EM. For the Sands, depending what team you play, if you play in Vape or Melt, so with a Cryo or Hydro support, you will want EM Sands most of the time. It's really what's going to give you the most damage. If you play with Bennett especially, if you have her signature weapon as well, because you get even more attack, she even gets more attack from the passive as well. So yeah, she gets a lot of attack from other extra sources, so EM Sense is going to be very good. Pyro Goblet is going to be very good as well. And if you do Melt or Vape Reaction, it's going to be the best option. And for Circlite, it's going to be crit damage. Now, if you don't play Melt Team, Attack Sense is going to be better. If you don't play Melt or Vape, Attack Sense is going to be better. And you're not necessarily looking for too much EM if you don't play Vape or Melt. And around 200, between 200 and 300 EM, if you got that from the substats already, you don't necessarily need to go EM Sense. If you're using Melt Flower, and you also got some extra EM substat, you don't necessarily need to go EM Sands, even though 300 EM is like pretty nice. Like between 200 and 300 EM and you're pretty good. But if you already have 200 EM from the substats, I wouldn't necessarily go EM Sands. It's a little bit overkill. You would get more damage from more attack. Now, in terms of talents, you want to level up the skill and the burst. Preferably the burst first for more damage, but you eventually want both to level 9 or 10 if possible. And the attack talent is really useless because all the damage you deal during her skill is going to scale with the skill. Okay, here you can see all the damage is scaling with the skill, so this is the most important part. And then the burst deals 1 billion damage, more likely 1 million, but still a ton of damage. And it's most of her, I mean, it's like half of her DPS basically. You deal 600, 700k with the burst, and then if you vape like 4 hits with her spin, it's gonna be like 800k or maybe even 1 million if you get like pretty good stats. So yeah. Now, in terms of best teams for Mavuika, overall her best DPS team is going to be the team I'm playing right now with Bennett, Citlali Xilonen. It's really gonna deal like insane damage. Here in this showcase, my Xilonen is C2, so she gives a lot of extra damage. But yeah, as you can see, T0R1 Mavuika level 8 burst, and I'm casually hitting 1 million damage very, very easily. I didn't even do like perfect rotation. But you have a lot of other options with Mavuika. You can play basically the same team, but replacing Citlali with Farina is also going to be very good. Instead of melting, you're going to vape. The rotation can be slightly different between Citlali and Farina. We're going to check that out a little bit later. But yeah, vape or melt is going to be pretty good. Farina, Citlali are going to be the best two off-field hydro or cryo support in general. But if you want to play melt and you don't have Citlali, you can use Rosaria or Kaya are also very, very good. Layla is not going to be that great because her cryo application is really not great. So she's not going to apply enough cryo so you can melt consistently. Kaya and Rosaria are going to be much better. You will need a lot of energy with them, and also you kind of want yeah, if you have C6 Kaya, it's a little bit better as well, but it can still work without C6 Kaya. And yeah, so Citlali, Rosaria, and Kaya are basically going to be your best cryo support for Mavuika. And then in terms of Hydro, it's basically Farina. There's not really good other Hydro off-field support. If you have C6 Candace, she can also work. But other than that, Yelan and Xingqiu will not work very well because you charge attack most of the time with Mavuika to deal as much damage as possible. If you want to play normal attack Mavuika, then you could use Yelan or Xingqiu, but they're not really the best option. And also, Kokomi's skill doesn't really follow you, so overall, it's basically Farina or C6 Candace if you want to vape somewhat consistently. And that's basically it. After that, if you want simpler teams where you don't have to worry too much about reactions, you can go Chiori, Zhongli are also pretty good option. Double Pyro, double Geo. Always pretty good teams in general. You're gonna deal like deep damage. If you don't have Chiori, you can go Albedo. If you don't have Albedo, you could also do a dual DPS setup with Navia, kind of. Not really the best, but it still works decent well. It's like fine. You can crystallize pretty well. You can swap between Navia and Mavuika when they're waiting for the cooldowns and stuff like that. So it's also a decent team. And also, if you don't have Citlali or you have Xilonen, you can just do a pyro team like that. No reaction, but you get the swirl from Kazuha. You get the shred from Xilonen as well. So there's also a pretty decent team. And finally, if you don't have Xilonen, if you don't have Citlali, you can do something like that. Without Nalan character, it's kind of hard to get the full burst of Mavuika because she's one of the only characters. She's the only character in the game that doesn't use energy for her burst, but instead a special mechanic called Fighting Spirit that only regenerates when another team member uses Night Soul points. So you have to use her with other Nalan characters if you want to regenerate her burst as fast as possible. So for example, here. So you can see, like, if she uses Night Soul points, her burst recharges slowly, okay? As long as when my Night Soul energy goes down, my burst energy goes up, okay? So it works by herself as well. But if you have a Night Soul, another Nalan character that uses Night Soul points, it's gonna be much faster. It's gonna be much faster, and it's gonna make your rotations much smoother, okay? And other than that, all these teams can be swapped with 4 stars, of course. So if you don't have Kazuha, you can use Xianyun. Plunging with Mavuika also works. You can do Sucrose. You can use Lynette. Those Anemo characters are fine. They're not as good as Kazuha in general. Sucrose can be as good depending the teams, but yeah, basically this. Overload Overload Mavuika is also pretty good. So in this case, you will probably want to have Auron.
What's the occasion?
Bring Auron and bring Chevreuse. Auron mainly for the scroll set. Mainly for the scroll set. Yeah, Auron is gonna be mainly to have the scroll set and be able to like prog the Chevreuse passive as well. And this team is also pretty good, honestly. This team is also pretty good. Now, finally, if you don't want to use Bennett with Mavuika, which is understandable, she was supposed to save us from Bennett, but she's just another Bennett slave at the end of the day, sadly. You can do things like, let's say you want to play Overload as well. You can do Fischl, Auron, Chevreuse. It works pretty good overall. I'll put at the end of the video a few showcase that I did on stream, just so you can see a little bit like the damage in general. And most of the showcase that will show at the end of the video is going to be with level 6 talents, not level 8. Because I did my testing before doing the Archon quest, so now she's level 8 talents, but she was level 6 talents before, okay? Gotta keep that in mind. And yeah, I mean, if you don't want to use Bennett, you can do double cryo plus you can do double cryo like Rosaria Kaya with Shengling or with like Kazuha or Zhongli or stuff like that. I
Sooner we're done,
like things
the
like
better.
this, or with Zhongli Shield, for example. It's gonna be more consistent on melt as well. It's gonna be easier to play, but overall less damage. Same for Vape. You can do double Hydro with like Farina Xingqiu or Farina Yalan or Farina, I don't know, Sijuin or things like that. Not gonna be the best, but still can work. She can be a pretty good. If you go to like the teams where she can work as a support, she can work as a support for like as a pyro applicator
What are
for
my
teams
orders?
like Ganyu, where Ganyu will be able to melt pretty consistently if you don't use your burst, similar to like her usual melt team. You can even do Bennett, honestly, but Mavuika with like Kazuha or with
Let's head off.
Xilonen in this team works pretty good.
All right.
I
Off
tried
we
it a
go.
little bit. I'll put it later in the video, but it works pretty decent. You can do some pretty good damage. She can be as a support for Kinich. Actually very good for Kinich. You can do Bennett, Mavuika, Kinich. If you have Emily, it's perfect. If you don't have Emily, you can go Nahida, you can go Baiju, you can go any other Dendro character, and it's going to work very, very well. And I think that's pretty much it for the teams in general. Yeah, the damage she can dish out compared to like anyone in the game, almost like Arlecchino was broken, but Mavuika is, as much as it pains to me to say it, like she's on another level at this point. Like 800k nukes as soon as she drops, and then 200k melts, 300k melts potentially. It's freaking insane. In terms of rotation, I wouldn't worry too much about what you do. Just the only thing to keep in mind is I wouldn't start with Mavuika's skill. I would start with Bennett's skill most of the time if you're playing a team with Bennett. So Mavuika's skill doesn't still fade or melts whether you play with Karina or Citlali. And then after that, you just burst, do big damage with the burst, and then just charge attack non-stop. With Farina, you can evade very consistently, at least 3 times, 4 times if you do a little trick. I'll put like a screenshot, or like, I mean, not a screenshot, but like a quick showcase of how to do the trick on the screen. But basically, most of the time with Citlali and Farina team, if you just don't worry too much about your rotation, you will vape or melt around 3 charge attack, 4 if you play properly. But usually by that time, even with an F2P team, the boss is going to be dead. The boss is going to be dead with 1 rotation, and even if you don't kill it in 1 rotation, the second rotation is going to do another million damage, and the boss is going to be dead. So this was damage with C0 R1 craftable of Nalan. Farina and Xilonen have constellations here, so it's not really like meant to be a showcase in this case specifically, but they're all using Favonius Sword just to get the energy back for the showcase, so it's not like really super optimal setup either. But yeah, basically, rotation is very simple. Apply Pyro, use Xilonen to proc the set, switch back to Bennett, use Farina or Citlali Burst or whatever other character if you have Rosaria, Kaya, stuff like that. And then switch back to Mavuika with her burst and then charge attack.
Teamwork is strength. Fulfill our path. Citlali, he's top light of the blazing sun.
Now, last thing in this team that is going to be very important is going to be the set on your support characters, especially if you play, let's say you play this team, Bennett, Citlali, Xilonen. Citlali and Xilonen most likely are using the same set in general. They're going to use Scroll in most of the teams you're going to play them if they're the only Nalan character and the only Nalan support. But with Mavuika team, you will want to switch around your artifacts. So with Xilonen, you can play, you can switch the set to Petra. So this is, I don't have a lot of Petra unfortunately, but you can use Petra set where when you crystallize reaction and you pick up the shard from the crystallize, we gain an extra 35 damage bonus, 35% damage bonus for the element that you pick up the shard of. And the only thing to keep in mind is that the character that gains the damage bonus is the one that picks up the shard. So let's say you want to gain pyro damage bonus, you will need to pick up the shard with Mavuika to get the 35% damage buff. That's the only restriction with the set, which is not really super easy to use all the time, but it's still usable. So yeah, if you play Citlali and Xilonen together, I would go Petra on Shilo, or if you want to make it easier, you can go Tenacity on Citlali as well. So because with her shield, you will gain the buff as soon as you proc it, basically, and then it's going to keep dealing damage anyway, so you will keep refreshing the buff, so 20% attack, and also increases the shield strength, so it's not negligible, it's not too bad for her. And yeah, basically those are the two sets for Citlali, Scroll or Tenacity. For Xilonen, Scroll or Petra, and for Bennett, Noblesse, or the last option is going to be Instructor. I don't really use Instructor too much because I really hate using 4-star artifacts on my characters, but I still have one just in case. Yeah, Instructor is going to be a very good option as well. Can be on Citlali as well. You can also go Instructor on Citlali. It is also pretty good. Will give EM to your Mavuika and you will melt harder. I think that's pretty much it. I will put some showcase at the end of the video, a few clears that I did on the Spire Abyss with different teams. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Hope this video helped you. It was a quick guide. I streamed for 12 hours today. I was kind of cooked. I don't usually record on stream because I'm kind of not really good at structuring stuff on stream. And also I like replying to chat all the time. And yeah, I'm not really that good at recording live. So I recorded it after the stream, kind of dash, but hopefully it helps. And if you need any help, let me know. I'll be live tomorrow as well, this time for some Woo-Wah probably, or maybe today as when I post this video. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye. This is Will Melt Flower. Okay, pretty good. Okay, yeah, a little bit. I'm missing like 10% energy on Citlali. Okay, Bennett burst. Oh my god, dude, the energy is great though. Yeah, I'm missing a little bit of energy on my Citlali. Like the first two rotations are fine, but after that, I'm out of energy. Well, the enemy should be dead, but this, do that, do this. Can't see the numbers. One thing that I don't like about Chaska is that you can't see the... Wait, bro, they're dying from Farina though. They're dying from Farina. Oh no, we have a problem. Everyone's dying from Farina. Okay. Ow. Okay, let me do that. Oh no, I don't have my burst on... Okay. Okay, I'm vaping. This is bad. The rotation is weird. I guess you just burst with Mavuika and you never skill. I think you just swap out, burst, and then people leave. Maybe you just do that. And then you swap and then you just leave and then you come back. Okay, so here the strat is basically this, okay? We do Arena. We do Citlali. We do shield. I forgot to skill with Mavuika. Fuck. 120k. Okay. Wait, it's not bad. Okay. Oh, I got my boost. I can do that. And I do that. And then boom. Okay. Oh wait, that was pretty insane though. Wow, that was pretty quick though. god.
Light up the blazing sun.
Wait, every time I skill... Okay, I don't feel like it's I shouldn't skill at the start with Mavuika, no? Because I don't melt if I skill with Mavuika at the start. I do that.
Teamwork is strength. Suffer the
I need to
wrath of
skill
evil.
before. I'm
Wrath from the
big on.
sky.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to skill with Mavuika. But then... Yeah. Okay, give me my burst. Bennett.
You two. Time to pyroclastic surge.
Okay, okay, I was melting pretty consistently. So basically, after your burst, you want to wait a little bit. Yeah, Citlali did 300k with burst level 7.
Teamwork.
Oh my god, I didn't get the...
Hear the echoes of the valley. Wrath from the sky.
Hey! Hey, if we vape with... Hey, oh, I'm vaping with Mavuika here. Wait, I'm vaping with Mavuika.
Rise with the...
It worked.
Everybody stand. Bring it. Let the mountain's veins boil. Strike
Oh
hard.
shit, my energy, please. Oh my god, I don't have energy. Please, one.
Aligning, echoing song. Light up the
Oh my god.
blazing sun.
Oh, I lost Bennett burst. Where? Well, I'm vaping pretty good. Where we're vaping very well. Every main stat, for
Wrath from the sky.
Citlali. Yeah, 220 here. It is much better still for the previous run.
Incinerate. Rev the engine.
Okay, I'm, okay. I mean, that's pretty good.
Shadow Raven.
That's pretty good.
You asked for it. Drop your weapon.
Time to say hello.
Pyroclastic surge.
186. Okay. 6. Bam. Boom. Oz, reveal thyself.
Tell me what you see.
Tell me what you see. And
Light of the blazing sun.
bam. 213. Okay, that was much faster than the previous clear, for sure. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good damage, even without Bennett.